areas that I get to deal with is through the Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, son. And I have noticed a trend in the city of Buell. I have noticed, thank you. Is that me or that's me? Yeah. I have noticed a trend in the city of Buell in the fact that, quite honestly, nobody can get along. This group doesn't like that group. This family doesn't like that family. This person doesn't like that person. That church doesn't like that church.
Amen.
Whatever the case may be, it is a serious problem and it is affecting Buell.
That's right.
That's right.
Come on. Totally.
Week after week, we see business after business leaving. Now, you could blame the government and say that it's because we're in a double-dip recession or whatever excuse you would like to use. However, the Bible calls upon us as saints of the living God to work together, to come together, to study together, to fellowship together, to keep it right.
Amen.
One of the most difficult tasks that we as Christians face is the practice of being right with the people at work, the people in school, our brothers and sisters in the church. It's very likely that there's at least one person here today and that you know of that's in your life that you are currently at odds with. In our society that we live in today, it is stressed through the media, it's stressed through the radio and television and newspapers. Protect yourself, serve yourself, fight for yourself, defend yourself. However, in that process, we have turned a blind eye to those that are around us. We've held on to, it's very possible that you yourself this morning are holding on to a grudge against someone who did something to hurt you or someone you love. Why is it so hard to get along well with all the people all the time? It is simply because we are human and we have faults. It is simply because they are human and they have faults. So how do we keep things right between us and others? Church, may I stress to you this morning that God is calling a church to be sanctified, to be set apart from the rest of the world, to be different than the rest of the world. There is a great problem and a great issue when the church and the world are so combined that you cannot tell the difference between the two. When the divorce rate in the church is just as high as in the world. When the grudges and the animosity and the anger and the words and the hurtful attitudes are just as bad in the church as they are in the world. Think about it. Where would Buell be considering the fact that we have 19 churches in the city of Buell? Where would Buell be if those that serve in those churches would behave like the saints of the living God that they were called to be, instead of finding loopholes or using excuses such as, hey, God knows how I am. I was born German. I was born Portuguese. I was born Irish. I was born French. And we all know that we have bad attitudes. But my Bible says that when you become a Christian, you become a new creation.
That's right.
You are a new person.
Yeah.
You become a resident, a nationality of being a saint of the living God, a soldier in the forces of the cross. Gone is your nationality of German, French, Portuguese, Italian, whatever excuse you want to use. We are to be saints of the living God.
Yeah.
With God's help, we will try this morning to show you what you can do, what I can do. Jesus answered this question this morning in our text today, and we're going to continue on in the book of Matthew chapter 5. We're going to start in verse 21. It says, "You have heard that it was said to those of old, 'You shall not murder,' and whoever murders will be in danger of the judgment. But I say to you that whoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment. And whoever says to his brother, 'Raca,' shall be in danger of the council. But whoever says, 'You fool,' shall be in danger of hellfire. Therefore, if you bring your gift to the altar and there remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift. Leave it there before the altar and go your way. First, be reconciled to your brother and then come and offer your gift. Agree with your adversary quickly while you are on the way with him, lest your adversary deliver you to the judge hand you over to the officer, and you be thrown into prison. Assuredly, I say to you, you will by no means get out of there till you have paid the very last penny." This morning, I'd like to help us all overcome the area and grow in the Lord and strengthen this area, and in hopes of creating a need, we change the hearts and attitudes of the people in our community and then go from there. I would like to start with a very direct statement. Most of all of the conflicts that are started by selfishness, either on behalf of you or on behalf of others.
That's right.
Selfishness usually leads to anger, and the greatest cause of the problem is between us and that anger.
That's right.
Think about it. When we don't get our way, what's the first reaction we have? Is to get upset. I have two young ladies here in this room that have seen that firsthand at a store. How just because there is a change and people do not receive what they want when they want it, that gives them every right to come in and be angry and get mad and use foul language. It's all because of selfishness. Now, this doesn't always mean, this selfishness and this anger doesn't always mean that you blow your top. It doesn't mean that it's always an outward appearance. It doesn't mean that you're constantly running around stomping your feet. Sometimes anger, you can be provoked, annoyed, and you hold it in. And you hold it in, and it creates a cancer. Not only in your physical being, but in your spiritual being. We don't always have to yell, scream, or holler to be angry. We can walk around quiet. I know, speaking for myself, when I get very angry, I find it better to just draw in and be quiet, so that I can think about my words, think about my actions, think about my vengeance, think about how I'm going to pay back this wrong that's been done to me. And only with the Lord's help, as I hold on to that anger, it begins to dissipate. And it begins to fizzle. Do I still retain the pain? Yes. Do I still retain... I tell you what, there's been stuff that's happened to us 4 years ago when we first got here. And every so often the devil likes to say, "Hey, remember that?" And I'll think about it, and I'll start to build that head of steam back up, and I'll say, "Man, I wish I could get my vengeance. I wish I could go back and tell them what for." And as I hold on to it, you have to make a physical choice to turn a blind eye and say, "You know what, Lord? The Bible says vengeance is yours. You can take care of this so much better than I can.